Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Brad Blazar with us. Brad is an author, a speaker, a coach, and a podcast host at Blazar Group. We're going to talk about capital, private equity today, everything in between. This podcast is brought to you by podpire.com. If you want to if you want to start a podcast, you want to scale a podcast, go to podpire.com. Brad, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
I'm glad to be here, Charles. It's a pleasure always to join people on their pods and add value to their communities. Yeah, we're just busy, blowing up. As many people know around the world, I've raised money most of my professional career. And what we do now is we basically consult and we mentor people on how to attract and raise capital from investors so they can build, buy, and scale their business, or as I like to say, just do something bigger in life. A lot of people have a desire to start a business or, do something big, and the reason they can't do it is money. So we try to help them solve that problem.
Right. Tell us when you first started your business and why did you decided to do so?
Yeah, I basically most of my career, was a professional capital raiser, and it was doing really well. And then I kind of retired about 4 years ago, and I realized after a couple months sitting at home in retirement that I just was still pretty young and had a lot in me to keep going. And it's my belief that most people in the world have a desire to be doing more, to be producing more, kind of doing something bigger. And unfortunately, a lot of times that dream or that goal gets extinguished. And when I talk to people and I ask them, why are you not starting that restaurant that you've dreamt about for the last couple of years? Or why are you not investing in real estate like you've told me you want to? It usually comes down to just one thing, and that is they don't have the money. And, having raised over $2 billion in my career, Charles, I just kind of smile and I say, don't you realize when you wake up, you're surrounded by all the money you need to do everything in life you want and desire. We just call these other people investors. And if I can teach you how to go out and attract their interest and how to talk to them and raise money, I can help make that dream you've had for many years become a reality. And so that's why we started our platform about 4 years ago. And today we've exploded. We're in countries all around the world, impacting and changing the lives of thousands of people. And it's just been a fantastic journey each step of the way.
So tell us in summary about how people should go when it comes to raising capital and investing into real estate nowadays. Me personally, I do cold email quite a lot. Cold outreach is amazing at getting investors and capital. I do it as a service for my clients. On your side, how do you go with that?
Yeah, the big thing about raising capital is you need to understand that people invest with people they know, like, and trust. Well, it obviously takes time to build trust. It's kind of like dating. You don't just meet a pretty girl and then walk her down the aisle and marry her the next day. She's got to get to know you. Same thing with investors. And so, one of the biggest mistakes that we always see people make, Charles, is that they meet somebody that could be potentially an investor, but then they pitch them way too prematurely in the process. I kind of joke and I say, you got premature presentation. But the reality is, you got to slow down. You got to give people the opportunity to know you, because if you pitch too early, that person's going to say, yeah, it sounds like it might be an interesting deal. Send me some things to take a look at, but they'll never write a check. And what they're really saying to you at a very subconscious level is, Charles, I do not know you well enough to move forward because I don't trust you. If you give people the chance to trust you and like you, they're much more inclined to ultimately write you a check and become a capital partner.
Right. And what should be the first contact with these folks? Are they people that are friends, family, or should you reach out to them from scratch on LinkedIn?
It's a great question. So here's my answer to that. Personally, myself, I have raised over $2 billion through my efforts and the efforts of teams I've led. I've never raised a dime from a friend or family member. Now, here's the reason. I value relationships more than money. I know that sometimes things can happen in business that we don't plan for. I know sometimes deals don't work out the way we hoped. And I never want to take money from a friend or a family member and then have to answer to that. So all of my money's been from strangers. But with that being said, a lot of people start with friends and family, and that's just fine. But the same thing applies with friends and family. You have to realize that these people have worked hard. They save their money. They expect to get a return on their investment. The approach is a little different with a friend or a family member because they already know, like, and trust you. And so you can accelerate the process and you can move a little quicker. With complete strangers and people that don't know you, though, it's a whole different journey.
What are typical returns that an investor can expect in investing in real estate and into what you've been specialized in on your side in the last couple of decades?
It varies. Most investors in real estate, they look for three things. They look for income, they look for upside appreciation. They want their money to grow. And then, of course, they look for the tax benefits. One of the great things about real estate is the tax benefits. We get to write off all of the improvements. We get to depreciate the asset. And so there's a great way to shelter the income. Typically, most investors, they're looking for returns anywhere from 14, 16, 18% or better. It really depends also on the age of the investor. A lot of times, the older the person, they're looking for more income because they're going to be retiring and they're no longer going to have the ability to work. And so, an investment that provides consistent monthly income or quarterly income might be more exciting to them. Younger people, they want their money to grow. And so, naturally, they're going to be looking for more upside appreciation.
On your podcast, who do you interview and what have you learned from other Mavericks?
Yeah, on the Capital Catalyst show, we interview people that, number one, are successful capital raisers, number two, are investors, and number three, that are actively doing something where maybe they're launching a fund and they're trying to raise capital. The thing that I've learned interviewing literally just hundreds of people over the course of the many years we've been doing this is that successful people take action. They don't waver in indecision. I think one of the reasons a lot of people struggle, number one, financially, also in life, is they're very indecisive. They think about doing something, but then they never take action to actually do it. And so everybody that I've talked to on my podcast had a dream, had a goal, had a desire, but then they committed and they actually took action to do something. The second thing also, I think, that I've learned is that the successful capital raisers go long in the same direction. And what I mean by that, Charles, is they have consistency. People like Tiger Woods, how long has he been golfing? Since he was a little boy. You look at people like Yitzhak Perlman, one of the top violinists of the world. He's been playing violin for many, many years. So to become a great capital raiser, you don't start raising capital and then end the journey. You do it, and then you do it, and then you do it. And a lot of the people that we coach and mentor, they have created legacies. They literally have created multi-generational wealth on other people's money. Some of the people that we coach and work with literally have hundreds of millions of dollars in assets that they own and control. And think about that. They're going to be passing this down to their children and their grandchildren. You see, in the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, he said the number one secret to creating legacy wealth is OPM. That stands for other people's money.
Right. Perfectionism is a disease. I see it often in the serial entrepreneurs that I work with. It seems that even once people get started, they don't have the grit to handle defeat and rejection at scale.
No.
In what you do on your side, how is accepting rejection and grit important in the whole scheme of getting and raising capital?
Oh, it's very important. I'll tell you, we train and we coach and we consult the people that we work with to expect that. And you just have to understand that as humans, it is our natural tendency to tell other people that we're not interested. And so you do get a lot of rejection when you're calling people or when you're following up. Think of it this way, Charles. When you walk into a store and the clerk walks up to you and says, "Hi, my name's John. Can I help you today?" What do you say 9 out of 10 times? "No, I'm sorry, I'm just looking." And so that clerk leaves you alone. They kind of watch you out of the corner of their eye. They see that you're over there, maybe looking at some suits or some shirts, and they come back a few minutes later and they say, "Hi, I noticed that you were looking at blue sports coats. We just got a new shipment in." Before you know it, you're at the checkout counter swiping a credit card, buying a couple $100 worth of merchandise. We as humans are very defensive. we're wired to back away from things that we're unfamiliar with. And so if you understand the psychology to that and you kind of build a thick skin like a rhinoceros, you just charge right through it. And so I always tell people, look, you're going to get a lot of, I'm not interested, no, thank you. But rather than hanging up, immediately fire back with a question. Say, look, before I let you go, Charles, the reason you said that, was it because maybe you had invested in something like this before and it just didn't work out the way you thought it would? And they're going to answer. Then give them another question. I have literally taken people that have said, I'm not interested, and kept them on the phone for 30 to 45 minutes because I tell them up front, I'm not calling to offer you anything today. I diffuse the situation and I show them that I'm truly interested in them in trying to help them. Yeah.
Right. Tell me about your business and the various services you offer. What percentage of your money is made in terms of investing vs the courses, the coaching, and the masterminds?
Yeah, so we got two businesses. Number one, of course, we have our platform where we do so many things. We are a one-stop shop. We help people launch funds. We help people with the offering memorandums, the pitch decks, all the marketing. We are truly a one-stop shop for anything and everything related to raising capital. Then on the other side, I got a whole nother business. We raise money. We invest in projects like real estate, other really cool, sexy things. Last year, we did a partnership with the Salvation Army. We launched an NFT, and the revenue from that shared with our investors. And then, of course, the other percent goes to the Salvation Army, which is a great charity that we really wanted to help. So we have two businesses that are going side by side. And the really cool thing is that one business feeds the other. I get people that want to learn how to raise money. I'm like, great, come over here, help me raise money for my next project. I have people over here that are investing in projects that want to learn how to raise money. And so they jump over the fence and we coach them and we mentor them on how to raise capital and do it the right way. Because when you're raising capital, there are so many things that you need to be aware of. You know, we are in the securities business, so we have to be cognizant and aware of that. But there's really two businesses that run very parallel to each other.
What has wealth has done for you in your life? How has it impacted you? And do you feel getting rich is a worthwhile adventure?
Um, well, let's put it this way. I've been poor and I've been rich, and I choose to be rich. But with that being said, having money brings a whole nother set of problems. People think, oh, having a lot of money is going to solve all my problems. Bullshit on that. No, you got a lot more problems. You got taxes, you got people coming to you for money. But here's the thing about me that a lot of people don't know. A couple of years ago, I was invited to be knighted. And so I was knighted into a royal order along people like Paula Abdul, Tony Braxton, Ray Parker Jr., other major celebrities. And a lot of it had to do with my philanthropy. You know, when you come into money or you make a lot of money, you can impact the world in a very positive way. You can change people's lives. You can donate to charity. You can, donate to a university, or you can donate to something that you're passionate about. So for me personally, and this is, of course, in all my books, a portion of our revenue goes to MD Anderson for cancer research. And so for me, having money's great. You can afford all the great luxury items, but, I'm not really a big luxury person. I want what I'm doing to impact people. I want to be able to change people's lives. And so for us here at Capital School, it's largely about doing well for ourselves, doing well by others, and then obviously becoming philanthropic and impacting and changing the world in a positive way.
So, what are your top goals this year in terms of speaking gigs, in terms of authorship, and running the business?
Well, I'll tell you, that's a big one. I've shared the stage with so many famous people like John Maxwell, Floyd Mayweather, Brandon Dawson, so many amazing people. In May, I'm going to be speaking alongside Jordan Belfort and Elena Cardone and Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank. So in terms of speaking, there's really not a lot more that I can do. I mean, just bigger stages and maybe travel internationally. I'll be speaking in Dubai in June under the patronage of the Sheikh. But here's the thing. I think that in terms of our impact, what I really want to do in 2024 and 2025 is just grow our platform. We're hiring more people, we're expanding the business. And we do 4 boot camps a year, one a quarter. What I want to start doing is doing these boot camps in other countries. I could see me traveling to Australia, traveling to England, traveling over to the Middle East, and doing boot camps there where all of my following, all of the people that are in my community come together to not only meet with me, but also to network and collaborate and do bigger things together.
What does a day in your life look like?
It's very structured. I usually get up about 4 o'clock, and every morning I go for a 4 to 6 mile walk. It just kind of clears my head. I like to get my exercise out of the way, usually in the office by about 8. And of course, lots of meetings, lots of structure through that. We're planning, we're collaborating, we're talking to business partners. Usually at 5:30, I'm home spending time with my family and enjoying quality time. Again, working out at the fitness center at the club. And then, we repeat and we go all week long. I do take a lot of personal time for respite and rest. I believe that that's very, very important in one's life as well. But what I've learned from my coaches and just being a business owner is so many people show up on Monday morning where they have not planned their week ahead of time. And so life just tends to throw a lot of stuff their way and they act on the defensive. And so I believe that you should always act from a position of offense, a forward posture. And so I go into my week on Sundays planning. What am I going to accomplish this week? Who am I going to reach out to? What goals do we have for the week? That way, I'm moving forward from an offensive posture. And that's what I found leads to success.
Love it. At your stage in life, not sure if you reach plateaus ever, but when you do, what do you actually do? Because it seems to me that you're in it from an offensive standpoint. You might try to prevent these plateaus from happening, but when you feel that you're not advancing quick enough, what do you do?
So I do 3 things. Number one is I'm always looking to reach out to people that have what I call altitude over me. I look out in the world and I say, who is where I want to be? Let me reach out to them. Maybe I can forge a relationship and say, hey, would you like to be interviewed on my podcast? And then I ask, how can I help you? What are you working on that I can help you with? I try to build a relationship, always learning from people that can pull me up the ladder to where they are in life. Number 2, I take action. I find that taking action solves a lot of problems. So many people are stuck in the minutia thinking, oh, everything has to be perfect. It's not ready yet. I have to do this. No, I take action over inactivity because you can always do things behind the scenes. So always be moving forward, taking action. And then the last and the most important, I believe, is always surround yourself with successful people. Psychologists have proved that we become the average of the 5 to 7 people that we spend most of our time with. So if you're not satisfied or you're not happy with where you are in life, financially, emotionally, take a look around you, upgrade your friends. And what happens as you become successful, Charles, is you start to outgrow those relationships. And that's fine. I invite a lot of people to come up the ladder and meet me where I am today. But you have to realize that as you mature as a business owner and as you become more successful, you'll outgrow a lot of the people that are in your past. I always say you have to say goodbye to your past to say hello to your future.
Right. In terms of sales this year, what are your best GTM methods that you use to get more clients?
We do a lot of webinars. I love doing webinars because the acquisition cost for a new client is very low. We do a lot of funnels. And then probably for me, the number one acquisition strategy is speaking on stages. I always tell people, Charles, you don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. And so by being out in front of people, by doing webinars, by being out in the public and just being visible, the money is a byproduct. And obviously, as a social influencer and somebody that's out there on a daily basis, that's really what's big for us this year. Is just being more visible, being on more shows like yours, and just being out there and networking.
Love it. Well, thank you, Brad. Where can people find out more about you?
So the best way to follow me is either follow me on Instagram. You'll see the blue check, so you know I'm the real deal. I got people that have tried to, imposter me before, but it's just bradblazar.com. There's no E's in the spelling of my name, so it's Brad at bradblazar.com, BLAZ, like zebra, AR, or go to my website, bradblazar.com, BLAZAR. Send me a contact. Go out and take a look at our books. Follow me on our podcast. We're here to help you grow. We're here to help inspire you. And more importantly, we're here to help you teach you how to raise capital, because learning the capital game and understanding how to find investors can literally unlock the door to make all your dreams and all your goals become a real reality.